Hi, I'm MJ Hecox here at Leopold's, where we pair our bottles with books. So this month's feature is the Carmenere grape. So this used to be a blending grape in Bordeaux. However, it's really become Chile's flagship red. So it's a fun, big, round wine, red fruits, black fruits, silky tannins, excellent to pair with red meats, red sauces. This particular winery, Primus, practices sustainable viticulture, and their vines are over 80 years old. 30 is considered an old vine. It gets great reviews, as you can see, 91 points here from Wine Spectator, and we think you're really going to enjoy it.
Hello, and thank you for joining us for this month's Cooking with the Cap Times. We're so happy you're tuning in. We are joined today by Chef Jonathan from Grand Geneva Resort and Spa. He's going to make a lovely recipe for us. Before I kick it over to him and to Lindsay Christians, I did want to thank our sponsors of this event. So our official kitchen sponsor is Kesnick's. That's where we are now, and every month they host us in this beautiful space. You can come here to get all of your kitchen supply needs. They are open to the public. Our official wine pairing sponsor, you just saw a short video from them. That's Leopold's Books Bar Cafe in Madison. They provide a wine perfectly paired for each dish each month to go with it. MJ, their wonderful sommelier, always picks a perfect wine. If you would like to try that wine, you do have a chance. The guests who are here in person will be drinking it with the dish, but if you want to make the dish and pair it with this wine, you can do that by asking questions throughout. We'll get them answered by the chef, and then we'll pick one winner who has the best, most interesting question, and they will win a bottle of this wine that they can go pick up from Leopold's. So make sure to put your questions in the Zoom chat. We'll get those answered. You can also just go to Leopold's to get wine, books, coffee, espresso, cocktails, everything I personally need in a place. And then our official video partner is Hinkley Productions. They're making this live stream possible right now. If you would like to join us in person at a future event and try the wine, try the dish, be in the action, you can do that by becoming a Cap Times member. Members get a chance to come to this event every month in person, along with other perks that we offer, and also supporting local journalism. You can do that by visiting membership.captimes.com and giving any amount to support our newsroom, and then you're a member. I think that's all I have to say, so I'll pass it over to Lindsay Christians.
Woo, thank you, Beck. Thank you so much. Thank you, Jonathan, for being here.
Thank you for having me.
This is really great. I'm so excited for what you've got planned for us. But really quick, tell us a little bit about where you work and why you chose this dish tonight.
Of course. Well, I'm Jonathan Gutiérrez. I work at Grand Geneva Resort and Spa. I'm the executive chef for the whole property. And this dish became, to my mind, just because we get just the regular carne asada dish everywhere in every restaurant dish, right? So Mexican restaurant, sorry. So I wanted to elevate it a little bit. So we have the carne asada marinated in north meaning south of Mexico, beer marinade, and also achiote marinade, which is a really nice tangy spice. Then we're doing a Mexican rice that is finished like a risotto, or basically a risotto with those same flavors. We're doing a couple of garnishes, a nice savory cream or crema, and a pickled apple with some peppers and habanero. So let's get to it.
It's got all of the things going on, and I'm really excited about it. We were talking just a little bit before the camera started rolling that it's about to get into the busy season in Lake Geneva. So are things already booking up at the...
They are booking up. We are gearing up to open the golf courses a little bit earlier than usual, just because of the beautiful weather.
It's warm.
So just visit us and play some golf with us. Ask for me for the good food. So yeah.
All right. Well, let's get started. Where do you want to start?
Of course. I think we should start with searing up the steak. So let me bring it over. Ooh. It's already marinated, so you don't have to wait about 12 hours for you guys to see it here. So we'll do the marinade and everything, but I want to start like talking a little bit about what I did, searing it up, getting the nice color so we can cook it.
Wow.
So first of all, we need to take the little bit of the excess off, which are the citrus that we have, the onions, the cilantro, the green onion, the achiote paste, and basically just giving it a nice sear.
Quick question.
Of course.
When you marinate this like this, do you leave it open like that, or do you cover it with plastic wrap? Does it have to be contained in some way?
It depends on what you want to get. I like to leave it covered just because I want it a little bit juicier as far as the marinade goes.
Sure.
But if you like a more dry crust, you can leave it unopened and it'll be kind of like quickly dry aged. So it's basically the flavors that you like. I would recommend to cover it, but it's, as a kitchen, it is what you like.
Got it. Okay, because you can like dry age a steak almost in your own fridge, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
You just need a good amount of air going through and a good amount of salt if you do it in your regular fridge.
Okay.
Just to avoid the bacteria building up.
Right. Good note. Yeah.
So after this, I would say let's follow with the risotto. So it's almost a traditional risotto. We will start like browning the rice with a little bit of lard instead of olive oil.
What difference does the lard make?
The flavor.
All right.
You just add a really good flavor to it. And the end of the consistency and the browning of the rice will be a little bit more even. And of course, lard coming from a pig, it's really good flavor.
This is great. I make risotto all of the time, and I feel like this is going to change the methods, change the opportunities for what you can put into it. Kind of fun.
So for me, cooking is like painting, right? There's no real rules or basis. If you're calling something traditional, of course, you need to follow some sort of recipes. But if you are going with freedom and adding a little bit more of yourself to the dish, then there's no limits at all. We will have the carrots also in it at the same time. That way they cook evenly and they are soft with the rice. And then I'll tell you a little bit about some secrets that I have.
This is my favorite part. I love knowing the secrets. Already you're doing things differently than I normally would, which I love seeing. That's great, because I'm always just like, no, we have to do like melt all the fat, get the fat ready, and then the onions, and then the rice. Like I'm very, but you're just putting it all in.
Exactly. So the real traditional way of making a Mexican rice or a Spanish rice, you do everything on the raw, right? So you blend the garlic raw, you blend the tomato raw, and then you cook it with the rice once it's toasted.
Oh, okay.
So it's the same principle, which I'm using. I'm adding the sun-dried tomato just for extra round tomato flavor, the shallots, garlic. I have the tomato paste, which again will add a little bit more of the real heavy tomato flavor. But then the secret comes in the liquid that we're using. We're not using either veggie stock or chicken stock. We're using, and sorry for the brand naming, we're using Clamato. So, right there.
Seriously, it's like a Bloody Mary.
Exactly, it's technically the Mexican Bloody Mary.
All right.
We do the Bloody Marys with the Clamato actually in Mexico instead of regular tomato juice. So this is kind of like visiting my memories as far as cooking.
Bloody Maria. Oh yeah, Bloody Maria. I love it.
Exactly.
I love that. I have in the recipe for the roasted tomatoes, I indicate a pretty high temp, and my editor was wondering, like, basically, will they burn? And I don't think they will. Like, they're juicy enough. You did these pretty high temp, right? These.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when we say high temp, and sorry for my dirty hands, it's basically just giving color to the skin. The rest will stay nice and firm. You're just looking for the toasty flavors of the tomato.
Okay.
Lindsay, would you mind helping me flipping the steak over?
I need
Sorry
something
that
to
I
flip
put
it
you
with.
to work.
I was like, with what? There we go. Oh.
You got it.
You have stamps on your tomatoes?
Yes. Yeah, basically it'll liquefy. So there's no problem with that. And actually in the tomatoes, the real smell of the tomato or the plant of the tomato is not in the fruit itself, but in the stems and the leaves. So that adds extra flavor. It's a little bit of my craziness. I like to read a lot and just experiment. So yes, the tomatoes. One of my favorite chefs is Heston Blumenthal from England.
Yes.
So he's crazy, as you're laughing already. So he experimented a lot, and basically he did a tomato flavored broth just with the stems of it, not even the tomato.
No fruit.
Exactly, just the stems, all the leftover, which we are also using kind of like the same idea. I hate wasting food, so the marinade of the broccolini, which we'll do later on, I do it with the cilantro stems. We're using all the cilantro for the garnishes and stuff on the sauces here, but the cilantro stems will be on the marinade for the broccolini, which the stems have about the 75% of the flavor too. So it's really strong.
That's really interesting. I feel like I heard that like tomato leaves are poison.
No.
No.
No, they are strong on their defensive mechanism.
Ah, okay.
That's why people say it's poisonous, almost like poison ivy. It gives you that itchiness. But once you cook that off, it's dead.
Ah!
You don't have it.
That's really good to know.
So as you guys can see, it's getting a little bit more of a toasty color, not regular white. So we're looking for that nice yellow golden brown color. Same as doing a Mexican or Spanish rice. Nice toasty color on the rice.
You've got arborio rice here. Are there other kinds of rice that could work in this prep?
Any kind of rice will work, but bomba rice, parboiled. If it's parboiled, it's way quicker to finish. So I'm using arborio just because of the idea of the risotto.
Got it.
But any other rice that you guys can use and want to use at home, works.
I tried canaroli, I think.
Nice.
Yeah, and that's pretty good too.
That should have
Great.
that should have been nice and aromatic too on the right side. And take these. No, you're fine. So then we'll start doing some sort of that traditional way of doing that risotto and the Mexican rice. Everything is getting cooked here, and the rice is absorbing all those nice, tasty flavors.
You've still got it up pretty high. Do you keep it up high for a while? Like,
Just for the very beginning. Hope you didn't get burned.
No, it's fine. I was like, is it gonna pop? Yes, it will pop.
So
Oh, chef hands.
let's turn it off for now. It has enough residual heat. So just be careful with the popping. It's because it's a really thick liquid, right? So let's just keep on cooking it as always, as a regular risotto, low flame, always mixing clockwise or counterclockwise. However you started is the way you need to finish.
Oh.
Why is that? I don't know. It's a Nonna secret.
Really?
So that's what my chef at my college or university taught me, right? Sorry, behind you. So the way you start whipping your rice is the way that you need to finish it, just because according to the nonnas and or the Italian grandmas, it gets lumpy and nasty. So I just keep on following that same.
I've never heard that before, but I love it.
So how much of the tomato liquid did you use?
Oh,
That's always my problem with risotto.
So
The question is about how much tomato liquid to use.
So all the liquid you use in risotto, not just the tomato that we're doing here, you need to cover the rice first, cook it down, and keep on going. Once it absorbs everything or thickens up, you add a little bit more.
Okay.
The rice needs to be al dente, or which means when you bite one rice, it needs to be cooked on the outside, but just a little white at the center.
Thank you.
Anytime.
I was reading about al dente with pasta recently, and one way of apparently that you can check is seeing like a very faint white line in the pasta, like when you cut it, that it's still there, because it will continue to cook after it's off the heat. And I think the rice does a little bit too. I've been thinking a lot about Top Chef, obviously, and there's the joke that risotto never wins. Risotto never wins. And one of the reasons I think is that because it keeps cooking and it gets gloppy as they wait from like finishing the dish to when the judges actually taste it, there's a gap of time. Whereas at home, we could just eat it. Which we're gonna do here, we're gonna just eat it.
And there's another reason why. Risotto might take you longer than what you expect on a competition. So if you're thinking getting risotto done in 30 minutes, it might take 45. You never know. It depends on the rice and the way that you toasted it at the beginning. So it's really hard to get it right. Don't do it on a competition.
Don't do it on a competition. Oh.
Well, that's a good competition. Then you can do it. Then,
so you're doing the beef and you're turning it fairly frequently. How far do you want to take it, like in this particular part of it?
I want to take it to a nice crust. Let me bring it to the camera.
Oh yeah.
This same color. That way we can just finish it in the oven, because it's a big piece of steak, the spinalis, and it's part of the ribeye. We're cooking it for 8 to 10 minutes, depending on how it feels, to get a nice in-between mid-rare to medium. I think that's the correct way to eat an espinalis. This is just my preference. If you like it rare, of course, make it rare. But for me, it's a nice in-between mid-rare to medium.
Espinales?
Espinalis, yes.
Okay. So
the deckle steak.
The deckle steak. I was asking you about this before, I think. If you can't find the deckle steak or you want to sub something else, like what are some good substitutes for this particular cut?
I would do the ribeye. 100% just because it's the part of it. The New York, maybe a sirloin, and of course the filet. But if you want me to pick it between two, it will be the ribeye and the New York.
Got it.
It's same consistency and almost the same cooking time for what we're doing here in the class.
And you would still do the marinade the way that you did it? Okay.
Same marinade. I recommend to do it for 12 hours. But if you cannot wait or don't have the time, 4 hours should be more than enough. You need the acidic bits of the achiote to really permeate, and also the beer. We have beer in the marinade, so that's what you want to get in there.
If you're doing it for less time, would you do it on your counter versus the fridge?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, just because room temperature helps the steak absorb like a sponge.
Yes.
Just a little bit, not that quick.
Not quite as fun, but similar. Okay.
Yeah, so then I also have an extra dish that I wanted to present to you guys. Again, this is something that is forgotten for a really, really long time. And this is not just from a Mexican standpoint, but also from a real traditional pre-Hispanic or pre-Native American territory, the humble corn. So they used to do this recipe to create some sort of candy-like texture, almost like dulce de leche or caramel. But there's two ways of making this, right? It needs to be freshly shucked off the plant, then degrained. You blend it all together with no water or nothing because it's super, super soft and juicy. And then you cook it down. Here is the bad news. 8 hours. 8 hours, right? Or if you can be on the stove for 4 hours, you just need to keep on mixing to avoid it getting lumpy and burnt.
Could you put it in a slow cooker, or would that not work because you need to stir it?
The question is about a slow cooker and whether that would work. For this, actually, Jonathan, can you bring it over here?
Of course.
I wonder if the folks can see it.
Sorry.
No, it's
I'll put
okay.
it here.
Just want to make sure that you guys can see it.
So to answer that question,
It's really
you
beautiful.
can do it in a slow cooker, but it'll be more of a sweet broth. Just because
Let me give that to you.
you are not reducing it, right? There's no space for the water to evaporate. So that's what you want. The pectin in the corn and the water of the corn needs to evaporate and act together to congeal and create this sort of candy-like texture.
Lauren, our resident vegan chef, is nodding very happily back here about this beautiful vegan corn dulce de leche.
Then we're putting this in the oven at 425 for about, as I said, 8 minutes, 8 to 10 minutes, or till it feels right. I'm more of a field chef than now I cannot close it. Technical difficulties. Thank you.
Thank you, Lauren.
Thanks so much. Sorry, behind you.
Kindly
Going
copy.
hot.
Okay.
Then at this point, you can see it has absorbed most of the liquid, and it's not even halfway there. The rice has not even grown to show that it has been cooking, so we add a little bit more. And same thing, it just needs to cover it nicely.
When I'm doing risotto at home, often I have to have the broth warm on my stove while I'm adding each bit. It doesn't have to be hot, but like warm. This is not hot. Why doesn't it matter?
It matters. And
Goodness.
you caught me on a vine here.
Oh, okay.
It needs to be warm or hot.
Okay.
Just for it to absorb quicker and not allow the starches to really develop badly.
Okay.
But just because of me doing it here,
Oh, yeah, okay.
I'm doing a mistake. Don't do this one,
Don't
okay?
do this at all. All right,
Follow
got
the
it.
recipe.
Yes,
Don't do this
okay.
one.
See, that's good to know. Okay. I'm glad I asked.
So we're doing the risotto. We have the meat going. Let's work on the marinade. So I'll save a little bit of this just to finish the rice. I need to clean the blender, and we can go with the marinade, because we are marinated a whole new piece of meat, so you guys can see everything basically how it was done in my kitchen.
I love this. This is very smart timing. I really like it. I like it.
So again, I have everything measured out, ready to go, just to make it easy for the class. But let's do it together here. And I will need to clean my plates, okay? So we add the white onion, which adds some spiciness, the spiciness of the onion. Just like that. We add the red onion to add some sweetness and depth of flavor. Then the mustard, which it's part of a new wave traditional way of doing the cochinita marinade. So cochinita marinade comes from the southern part of Mexico, Chiapas, Oaxaca, Yucatan, basically Yucatan. And it's this really acidic flavor that works really well with pork. I know I'm not using pork, but I like the flavor that it brings with it. Then we are following with the cilantro, the achiote paste, and this either you can get on a Mexican supermarket, an international market, or just online. And it's basically the
textures.
seeds.
Yeah, the texture is kind of, yeah. It's like a little bit spongy, kind of.
Almost. It
Yeah.
feels spongy, but it's not. It's almost like dry Play-Doh.
Yeah.
Weird
You
to
left
say
the
food
Play-
about that, but yeah, like Play-Doh. So
You left the Play-Doh out too long.
exactly, you didn't put the lid on. Similar, because they allow the paste to get dry. So I think it's similar. Then
And it's any kind of lager, right?
any kind of lager, but because we are here in Wisconsin, I would recommend actually a stronger beer, which would be the Spotted Cow.
All right.
But for YouTube purposes and to abide by all rules, we need to use a non-alcoholic beer.
Oh, all right. Look at that. All right. What part of Mexico are you from?
Aguascalientes.
What section is that?
So Aguascalientes is, I like to describe it in a really funny way, is the belly button of Mexico. not just because it's dead center, but also the city is round.
Oh, the city
So
is bad.
exactly. So it's basically the belly button of Mexico.
Is it named hot water for a reason? Like,
It used to have hot springs, yes.
Oh, okay, there you go.
It used to have hot springs, so it was called Aguascalientes, but now it's almost none of the hot springs, so just the name.
So what are you adding now?
This is Dijon mustard or coarse Dijon.
Okay, again.
So 2 different kinds of mustard here.
Yes, just to bring depthness of flavor, the umami on the meat. That's why we are in different kind of mustards and items that are similar, but they add something else to the dish. And now the last part of it, we add the citrus. So I have a lime, which traditionally the cochinita uses sour orange, which is really hard to find.
Yeah, I don't think we have that here.
So in order to jump through that,
It's a Meyer lemon, yeah.
Yes.
Look at that color. It's so pretty.
in order to jump through the flavor or to get something similar to the sour orange, I use regular orange and lime. And whenever there's Meyer lemon available, I like to use Meyer lemon just for the fruitiness and the floral notes of it too.
Sure.
It's beautiful.
And in this marinade, it depends. If you're marinating for 12 hours, I wouldn't add the salt and pepper. But if we are marinating for anything less than the 4 hours, I would add a little bit of salt and pepper just to help the steak lose the liquids inside and absorb
moisture.
these ones.
Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't look like it matters a ton if a couple seeds get in there.
I'll take them out.
No, please don't. Please don't. This looks easier. The thing is, I'm always looking for things of like little shortcuts of like, do I have to cut it really small? Or if it's going in the blender, maybe I can just cut it twice and put it in there. Like I'm looking for like cheats all the time because I'm essentially very lazy.
Well, so one of the cheats, because I didn't want to look for the colander, use your hand.
Yeah,
Right.
see? Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. Like, I feel like you can't, I have to use the citrus reamer because I physically can't. Like, I'm not, my hands aren't big enough or strong enough. But this works great. See, it's like when you're separating an egg.
Exactly, it's the same principle. Just allow enough space for it to bleed down.
I love it. I was hoping that you would say it didn't matter.
Technically, it doesn't matter, but
See?
I'm a purist, so I don't want any extra maybe bitterness from the seeds,
I don't care. I mean,
which you shouldn't get any, but I want to give you guys a good show.
this looks like the kind of marinade you could use on anything, like pork, beef, chicken, you
It
know?
would work with anything and everything.
I mean, oh,
Isn't that pretty?
that's beautiful. Gosh, the Meyer lemon, I didn't think we could still get them.
Yeah, that was this winter.
Right? Yeah, and it feels like spring now.
Similar.
Similar to cochinita pibil.
It's two recipes combined. So that's when I meant at the beginning the northern and southern part of Mexico. So the northern part of Mexico is marinating with citrus and beer, and southern is the cochinita. So basically, what you would do is grab some of the citrus, some of the herbs, some of the onion.
Whoop. Yeah, we're gonna move this stuff so people
You
at
can
home
yell
can
at me.
see. Yeah. Just so people can see at home how you're doing
course.
this.
Then flip it over,
All right.
repeat the same time, and then we'll just making a mess on the floor.
That's all good. So those are, this looks like scallions. Is that cilantro, parsley?
Scallions, cilantro, the citrus, and the onions.
It's aromatic already. It's like, that citrus is so pretty.
And would you mind just doing a little bit more of the marinade on the top?
Oh yeah. Can I use this? I'm just gonna.
Do you mean for the blender?
Oh, from the blender? Yeah. Good idea. Thank you. Doi. Thank you.
Thought that might be easier.
No,
It's okay, there's no mistake.
I'm wearing a nice shirt. All right. Right? Well, the thing that you wear at home when you're cooking and the thing that you wear when you're going to be on a camera are different things.
It's true, and especially with this type of cooking, you need to be careful.
See? Thank you. He validates me.
You get a lot of validation. You're fine.
I get plenty of validation. I'm doing fine. This is gorgeous. I want to like touch all the meat here. One of these days I'm going to bring my little apron to the show. My little lemon apron. It's so pretty. And you can just set it out on your counter.
Yeah.
Let it marinate for like a few hours. Woo!
So you see, it looks almost like it was cooked like the cochinita underneath the floor. So what you're looking is, if you just touch it, you're looking for some give and some of the liquid coming out of the steak. This means it's getting medium rare right now with the resting, which gives you about 5 degrees to 10 more degrees. We'll get to that nice medium, and then we'll go from there.
Do we have a temp? Do we have a...
I don't.
I don't either.
We'll see when we cut it open.
Yeah. Well, I use my thermometer a lot because I don't trust my instincts like you trust yours. And so I'm always like, if it's at like 115, 120, maybe it's going to keep climbing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So my plan is for it to keep climbing to maybe the 130-ish. I'm
Okay.
not that expert of saying, oh, it's 125 right now. But just by feeling and the experience I have in cooking, I kind of know a boundary.
Yeah.
It feels.
But I'm trying to like give myself the indicator of like, okay, this is about ready. You know? But it's like a little give.
Exactly. It's a little give, almost like spongy. You see how it bounces back?
Yeah. Okay.
So that's what you're looking for. And the liquid on the top. Then, if we're talking degrees and we want to use the thermometers, I would be looking for the 120 to carry to the 130.
Yes. Okay.
And that's exactly what we need.
It's the kind of thing I need.
Then,
Gosh, that's so pretty. Okay.
it's about 75% done right now. So I think I will allow it just to soak all this. Then I'll add the cream, the cheese, the salt and pepper at the end, just because the cheese, the Parmesan is already salty enough. So I don't want to oversalt it.
I think it was already beautiful, and then I saw the cream and the cheese additions, and I thought, oh my God. this is an insane dish, and it looks incredible.
So now, just again, I brought the cream already done. Well, let's do it here together. So I have the cilantro, the smoked paprika, the chili powder, and the mustard. And this cream or crema, we can finish with salt and if you like sweeter creams or more, how can I say it? More on the Honduran crema, maybe, or Mexican crema. We can also finish it with a pinch of sugar, which will make it a little bit sweeter. And round the flavor of the cream, not just being acidic like sour cream, but something more neutral.
What's the cream base? Is it sour cream?
Yeah, it's sour cream.
The base of it is sour cream. I will sometimes use like a Greek yogurt as a sub. Could you do that?
Of course, yeah, and the Greek yogurt will give you a nice acidicness, and I think if you use the same marinade with a fish, will be amazing with it.
Ooh, yeah. Just that creamy tanginess.
Exactly. And even if you go the really extra mile and you want to do some sort of fusion tzatziki, you can add also a little bit of cucumber if you do it with the yogurt, and finish it with a pinch of curry after all these ingredients, and it will be amazing.
That sounds really good. Seedless cucumber?
Yes.
We have one question about the marinating.
Of
Doris
course.
says she usually marinates in a glass dish. Do you find the marinade flavor is altered when doing a metal pan?
Depending of the metal pan. So if you use stainless steel, it shouldn't be a problem. But if you use anything that's not stainless, you can oxidize it with the acidic marinades. So I would say marinate it in either glass or stainless steel.
Not aluminum.
No.
Not aluminum. That's what they mean in the recipe when they say non-reactive pan, I think, right?
Exactly, non-reactive pan.
Non-reactive pan, because I think it turns black. Like, it gets weird.
It turns black, and even with cheese.
Yeah. Oh.
If you do an aluminum pan with cream and you bake it in the oven or something like that, it gets green and black. It reacts depending on the cheese and the type of cream it is.
Gross. That's really gross.
You don't want that.
No. All right, that looks beautiful.
So that's the cream done. Then I'll show you just the amount of water you need on this corn because it's not fresh.
So this is the recipe for the dulce de leche, kind of the beautiful vegan creme caramel kind of thing.
Yes.
That's a bonus recipe. I did edit it, and it is available for you all at home if you want the recipe. Beck has a link to it, and she's happy to share it with you. At some point, I mean, she's busy right now, but if you want the recipe, it's like a little Easter egg, and we can happily send it to you. Just ask.
And then the water that you need when it's not that fresh corn is just covering it barely with water. Just enough so you can blend it, and then you will need to strain it because you just need the, let's call it corn milk. You just
That's
need
what
that.
it's referred to in the recipe as well, as corn milk. Yeah.
And this is all you need. Just goes for a while, for about 3 minutes, I will say.
Okay.
Then we strain it and put it to cook.
For hours.
4 hours at least if you're standing there. So this is the texture that you kind of need.
If you don't stir it quite as often as maybe you should and it gets lumpy, is it still delicious, just lumpy?
Of course, it's still delicious, but I would recommend that once it's lumpy and done, you allow it one more time in the blender or immersion blender, and then restrain it, and it'll be perfect.
See, that sounds like a cheat.
Exactly. It is, but don't allow it to burn.
Okay. All right, so what else we got here? We got pickles too, right? We're gonna do
Yes.
pickles? All right.
And we'll follow with the pickles right now.
All right, let's do it.
So the pickle recipe is extremely, extremely simple and easy to follow.
We love.
So for the apples, we'll just core it out. And I myself like to leave the skin. Why? Just because I like that extra texture. Go as thin as you like. I'm going thinner just because this will be kind of like a quick pickle. But you're looking kind of like about 1.5 millimeters or a coin, a quarter thickness of it. That's what you're looking for.
I will sometimes use a mandolin if I can't get it as thin as I want, because the mandolin is exactly, like,
And it will be the same each
Yeah.
slice.
Yes.
So if you have a mandolin, use it. Just use the guard.
Yeah, I have to use the metal glove, because I've had mistakes.
Yeah, not that you can see it on the camera, but maybe you can. Oh, this went away with the mandolin.
I was gonna say it's flat. You've got a flat thumb.
Yes. It ended up going to the trash with the whole recipe. So.
Kitchens are hot and sharp places.
Yeah, and once you go with the mandolin and you go sharp, you need to get it all going.
Yeah.
Just say bye to your finger.
I like that you have two different kinds of apple here. So the Granny Smith and the slightly sweeter one, right? Like, you've
Yes.
got the different kinds of apple, which I think is really cool because they have different flavors, right? They have.
Exactly, flavors and textures. So this is more firm, and this apple, which is the Gala apple, I couldn't get Fuji apples. It's a little bit more sandy and soft. So it's just the difference on textures. and a little bit of the flavors too.
I'm gonna put it right here.
So yeah, you can just leave it there. Doesn't matter. Then you can see this is a little bit more coarse.
Yeah.
Not on the firm side. So it's just different textures and different flavors, right? Food needs to be fun. It needs to be inviting. So that's why I use a bunch of ingredients and different of the same, just to round the flavors and make it more interesting.
I can see that is a particularly important thing for you in the work that you do, because you have, when you're working at a hotel or a resort, you're serving all of the meals, right? Plus also room service sometimes, plus banquets. Like, you're doing so many things, and there are expectations, like if you're gonna do a banquet, right, that you have to have a chicken and a fish and a veggie kind of thing, like you have parameters.
Yes.
So making it like interesting and keeping it engaging for yourself, I mean, I can see how that would be really important.
And not just for myself, but also for the guests.
Yes,
right?
of course, yeah.
For me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, of course. I mean, I'm thinking of you, but yes, the guests
Of course,
too. Yeah.
and that's nice. It's difficult that we think of the chef or the kitchen crew, but it's also just for the guests, right? If you go somewhere to eat or to stay, you don't want to get the same that you get at home, right? Even though we say, oh, treat them like if you're at home. No, we need to treat you better. We need to treat you like you want to return to us, not just to go back at home.
So what's going into the apples?
So we have the apple cider vinegar, the white vinegar, 3 cloves, a whole lime peeled, and this is just for taste. That's why I'm not using it or nothing. I wanted to ask you guys, how adventurous are you with flavors? Okay.
Woohoo!
How
We
about
adventurous
spicy
team?
food?
Yeah, let's do it.
So, as I said in the recipe,
Here comes habanero.
Woo!
yes. Now this is just boiling it together, and that's it. That's why I didn't score it or slice it or nothing. I just want a touch of it. If you like spicy, then slice it, and that's all.
And the seeds will get in there, and that will make it really spicy, right?
The seeds
Yeah.
and the oils, yes.
Oh, the oils, yes, of course.
So I have the chile güero just sliced the same way, and I'll put this to boil with a little bit of water. And then, as I said, we're doing a quick pickle. So the apples and the onions will go together with that hot liquid. We'll cover it, finish it with the salt and sugar, and the quick pickle is done.
These peppers can be a little bit more challenging to find, at least in Madison, so
Yes.
far as I could tell. The way I find that Woodman's has a good selection of peppers, like better than some local grocery store, other local grocery stores do, I should say. But also, as soon as like the season gets going, Savory Accents is a local farm that does a lot of peppers, and I bet they've got some great peppers you could use in this recipe. So shout out to Savory Accents.
And also, if you cannot find the chile güeros, you can use banana peppers
Yes, right.
or the hatch chiles.
Ooh, New Mexico's finest.
Yes, exactly. And then as you could see, the rice has already developed to 2 times the size that it was. We added the cream. Now we need to reduce the cream a little bit, add the cheese to it, check for taste, salt, pepper, finish, and we're almost done with the recipe.
So beautiful. Can I just give these a rinse? Maybe? Yeah.
A little bit of cleaning before I follow with the broccoli recipe.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Doing great. I'm going to give these to Lauren. Yeah, thank you. Just for a little quick. Thank you.
So then for the broccoli recipe, I have the broccoli already blanched. What does blanching means? So blanching, it's having boiling water with a touch of salt or soda bicarbonate. I add those two, one for seasoning and the soda bicarbonate to keep it green, right? So that's, you usually see blanching and they just said, just boiling water and then chuck it in ice. If you add those extra little things, will be even better. Will give you a better color, will give you a better end result. So as I was saying...
Just like a little sprinkle, like a baking soda, like a...
Yes,
okay.
Just a nice pinch. As I said, these are the stems of all the cilantro that we use for the recipe. So we are mixing it with the yuzu. And again, this can be as rough or as fine as you like. It just depends how you like your cilantro. And the flavor of it, because I also know some people cannot stand cilantro and some people have a really weird reaction to cilantro. It's not an allergy, but it's a body intolerance. It basically tastes like soap.
It does to some people. I had a little bit of that, and then I kept having cilantro over and over to see if I could change it, and that worked. I mean, you have to. It tasted like soap at first, though. You know,
You learn to love it.
No, but yeah, but there's massive cuisines in the world that have a lot of cilantro in them, and if you can't have it, there's a whole world that's shut to you a bit, you know. So, and I was like, well, I don't want that. So I just ate it and ate it and ate it until
And
it's
that's nice that you fought it.
I mean, I don't know that would work for everybody, but it worked for me.
At least it worked for you.
Yes.
So then we go with the hot liquid. Looks like it's not enough, but that's all you need. So cook the onions first for a little while, and then we'll flip it over and cook the rest. I just want them to get a little bit pink with the acid. It's already going.
I love like the sweet and the crunchy. It's gonna be so good. Like
It should be a nice, different taste of just the pickled onion for everything.
yes, right.
Pickled onion this, pickled onion that. So again, keep it interesting, right? So at this point, after this has thickened,
It's beautiful.
we can add the peas. We can add a bit of the cheese to fold in.
That's Parmigiano.
Yes, Parmesano.
It's thin, like
It's shaved.
yeah.
But if you get the grated one or the thinner one on strips, it what matters is that you get a Parmesan to do it the risotto way, right? We are finishing the dish with a little bit of cotija too, just to bring the Mexican or the Spanish flair to it.
I love that. It's different texture, right? Like it's gonna be texturally different than
Yes.
and different kinds of saltiness than the Parmesan will have.
Exactly, it's really salty and let's call it aromatic.
All right. I like
It's
it.
cotija cheese is a little bit more pungent,
It's funky.
so I'm not afraid to say it's a fig cheese.
yeah.
It smells like fig. But it also adds a really nice flavor to it. That funkiness of this smell adds a nice flavor to the end dish.
Okay. Ooh, yeah, let's see it.
And this is what you're looking for, right? You need to see the cheese pooling. You need to cream it a little bit more. It will be almost there. I just need to finish the broccoli for you guys. I'll present the dish and we can enjoy.
Oh. Look at that. Look at the cheese pull. Oh my gosh. I love the color of it too.
It's reminiscent of a tomato risotto.
Yeah.
Just regular tomato risotto. But then you see the peas, you see the carrots. It's like, oh, then is it a Spanish rice? Is it a Mexican rice? What's going on?
I was gonna totally. I'm always looking for cheats, as I said, and I was gonna get like the bag of frozen peas and the peas and carrots that I would get as a kiddo.
Yes?
But you added them at different times, which means I would get peas and carrots separate.
You can use that one too.
Oh yeah?
Just because my carrot was a fresh carrot.
Oh.
So that's why I needed to cook it first. But if you get the frozen ones, it's already pre-cooked and softened enough that you can finish it.
Oh, look at that. I didn't know that. That's great. See, I love it. Anything that makes it like that much faster is the thing I'm going to do. Okay, this is parsley.
It's a little bit of parsley and cilantro mix just for the greenery. I want deep colors of green there, just of the look. And then, this is also really, really, really hard to get. It's called epazote.
I could not find it. I looked at the groceries, but it is sometimes available at the farmer's market in the summertime.
This is an herb that's super traditional in Mexico, but there's also one more thing to it. It's becoming extinct because nobody's using it anymore. So that's why I wanted to bring it here too, to allow some more people to learn about epazote and start using it, maybe bring it to the markets or something, and keep on building this plant to avoid it to disappear.
What's the flavor like?
The flavor, it's really interesting. It's, as you cannot smell it at home, but it's almost like dry anise, and then the taste is oregano, then you get really strong floral notes.
Ooh.
So it's really interesting, an interesting herb to use.
I want to pass this to you guys.
I can pass it down.
Just like,
course.
rub it in your hands a little bit, and you'll get the aroma of it. It's really floral. It's to me, it's very floral.
Yes. So it's floral, and it adds a really nice dimension to the dish. Once it's warm, the taste changes more to like an anisey flavor.
It's really interesting, right?
And then again, just mix it in at the end to allow all the flavors to get to know each other. Say hello, how are you? My name is epazote, my name is cilantro. I'm with the clamato. So this is just bringing the oils and the aromas getting together and add a little bit more of that flavor.
It smells so good.
So then now finishing the broccolini, you just add the yuzu miso to the garlic, the cilantro, the touch of sugar, salt, pepper. Throw it in the broccoli, toss it together. You might not need to finish this with salt just because miso is already marinated and extracted with salt. So it just depends on the end taste before you serve it to your guest or to yourself. Just do one last taste. And you finish it in the oven at a really high temperature. Same as I had the steak, 425. And it should give, oh, you're fine. You don't need to run. And you are looking for toasty brown bits.
This is the kind of thing that in the summertime I would just throw on the grill.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Having a grill with this recipe would be the perfect way to finish this. But if you don't have it, just make use of a really strong temperature and should be done.
All right. That's going to be beautiful. If you can't find the yuzu miso, I did find it, by the way, at the World Market in Middleton, has it? Kind of randomly. But I was looking for like other things to sub for it if you wanted to.
Yes.
And I think a white miso, right, would work okay if you loosen it up a little bit.
White miso, if you loosen it up with a little bit of citrus juice. Yuzu is a citrus. Red miso or any other paste that has been marinated would work really well.
The red will be the stronger flavor than the white, right? Like
Yes.
it has the stronger flavor, yeah.
Red would be a little bit stronger, but also sweeter, not just salty. It's also sweeter on taste. Then, as I said, I'm adding the salt and sugar right now that I'm about to flip it, so the apple gets a little bit of that cooking liquid and gets to know the other flavors.
You gotta meet each other.
Exactly.
All right.
Then I would say, let's see if I did good with the steak.
I bet you did.
It's okay to make mistakes. It rested almost the same amount that it cooked.
Wow, all right. Oh, it's perfect.
It's perfect, medium rare, medium. That is what we were looking for.
Oh, same.
Then I'll present a dish. And we here get to enjoy it. And hopefully you guys at home do it and then enjoy it at home.
Yes, if you do make this recipe, you should send us pictures, tag us anywhere. We love to see the finished dishes.
We really do. It's fun to see when people have cooked something. I recently made pizza because Mo Cheeks was doing a Pizza with a Purpose event. And so I got a little pizza kit from Pasture and Plenty and I made pizza at home. And I was like, I can't believe I just did this. Like, this sort of worked out. And I thought I should have taken a photo to share to say that you made this happen for me and I did it and I'm grateful. And how do you express that?
Yeah, that's the best way. Even for any chef that shares a recipe or a way to do something, that's the best way that I got to teach you something that you really liked and got to do. So I like to see that too.
You do a lot of teaching online as well. Like this is part of what you do, right? You like to share how you do things with people.
Exactly. Yeah. So I post a lot of what I cook, and basically, it's not just what I cook, but things that I do at home with ingredients that I have at home, and you might also have at home at your house. So my recipes in my social media, Chef Jonathan G, are really easy to follow. And something that you can do to surprise your family, your loved ones, yourself, and add something to your repertoire.
Oh, yeah, I'll grab it. I want to get the clamato out of the way too here. Sorry, clamato.
And then the crema, right at the center, let it melt. The pickles that I brought, cheating.
I'm just gonna move them really quick.
Yes, thank you. You can yell at me if I'm covering. Then just choose a nice array of pickles and serve them on the side. Just because you do not know if your guest or yourself will like the spiciness and the craziness of this. So allow yourself to experiment. And I would say this is a finished dish.
Oh, yay! It's beautiful. Look at the color. Oh my gosh.
No, the corn is basically a dessert.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow, that dish is so gorgeous. I think everyone's mouths have been watering for like an hour. So again, if you would like in the future to be able to try this lovely dish and not just make it at home, you should do that too. But if you want to try it in the future, you can do that by becoming a CapTimes member at membership.captimes.com. Come join us in person at the next event. One more time, I'd like to thank our sponsors, our official kitchen sponsor, Kesnick's, for hosting us here. Leopold's Books Bar Cafe, our official wine pairing sponsor. We're about to pour that wine and pair it with this dish. And then Hinckley, our video partner. And of course, thank you to Jonathan for coming. I think we didn't have a lot of questions because you were so good at answering them before they were even asked. But we'll give Doris the bottle of wine. So if you want to stop by Leopold's within the next week or so and pick that up and enjoy that. And thank you everyone for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Congratulations, Doris.
Thank you so much, Chef Jonathan.
Thank you for having me. I really hope you guys enjoy.